Summer is here, and you know what that means? A good road trip. And you need a way to prepare for it. And luckily, I'm working with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration to bring to you some of their amazing tips, as well as a checklist to help you prepare for your next road trip adventure. Trust me, sometimes these errands can seem like a headache before the trip, but they really will save you and allow you to really enjoy your experience when you're on the trip. If you're new here, my name is Sarah, an adventure travel vlogger, and one thing's for certain, if you checked out my channel, I love a good road trip. And honestly, I believe that the journey is almost as good as the destination itself. And a lot of the times are where most of the stories that come from my travels are from. After traveling to over 40 states, road tripping both domestically and abroad, I can tell you that these tips in this checklist would have come in extremely helpful as I prepared for my trips. Trust me, I had a few misadventures, like when my belt broke and I had to tow my vehicle, or when I had some engine issues and let's be real, I broke down in the high-speed lane. Honestly, those were some things that I probably could have checked on beforehand and saved some of the headache on the journey and a lot of money. But one thing's for certain, you live and you learn, and now I've learned those things, so I wanted to share them with you so that you don't have the same misadventures. But of course, things do happen, and sometimes those things create some epic stories. Before you go on your road trip, make sure to go over your vehicle road safety checklist. And that includes going to get your car serviced, which makes it a lot easier. In many car service places, when they're changing your oil, they'll also look at the other levels of all the different fluids, your coolant, make sure your AC and heat are working, as well as look under the hood to make sure your belts and hoses are good and there are no leaks or cracks as well, which is something that can save you a big hassle. Trust me, I know, as I said before, when I had one crack and break, the whole thing popped off and I had to tow my car. So try to not have that happen to you. And another thing you can do to make sure that you have all your T's crossed is have some roadside assistance plan. I have one, and that's what helped me be able to tow my vehicle all the way to Florida, which was definitely helpful when I could call them in a bind. NHTSA's list makes it very easy. I'll put that over here and go over it. You get your tires checked, make sure your air pressure as well as the tread and wear are not worn down, so you can see if you need new tires or not. Recently, I just had to change my tires, so I'm glad I checked. Also, check the lights. Make sure your headlights, your brake lights, and your turn signals are working, because that just helps make sure you're safe as well as other people on the road are safe. For your fluid levels, that's really important. You want to make sure your oil, your brake, your transmission, power steering, and windshield wiper fluids are all up to par, so that when you're on your adventure, you don't have to worry about those things, because sometimes it can be very hard to find places to get your car serviced on the road, especially out west. Also, for me, I have a van that's pretty high roof, and some of them don't take a vehicle of my size. Another great thing to have is an emergency roadside kit. I cannot stress this enough. The amount of times that I've had to jumpstart a battery just because I left a light on that I forgot about. I know I shouldn't do that. But the thing is, having those jump start cables have saved me in a pinch. Not only that, you can have roadside flares, flashlights, just in case you break down at night and need to change a spare tire. Make sure you check your spares so that you have it in case you need it. Also, you can have these triangles with reflectors on it so that you can make sure that people know further back before they reach your car that you might be broken down on the side of the road. Another great way to prepare is have plenty of snacks, plenty of water, especially in the summer in this heat. It can be definitely a killer. Finally, in my roadside kit, if I needed a lifeline for sure, it would be having my first aid kit, and also to make sure you always have power. There are power charging stations, power inverter chargers. Also, you can get these solar power banks that charge your phone and anything that you need basically charged. And that can be a real lifesaver, because what if the outlet in your car stops working and you need to have your phone charged so that you can safely navigate somewhere. But most importantly is the planning stage of your trip. By planning, you can have your choice of gas stations. Some are nicer than others, as we know. And also you can see about planning through different apps that can help tell you what gas prices are in the area you're located in to help you save some money. Also, when planning your route, you may always be relying on your phone, but sometimes you might not have service. So be sure to download maps before, just in case you lose service. And also, sometimes having a physical map of the places that you're going is extremely helpful in the case that you do lose service, which out west in different areas of the country, you may not have service. And always, when you're planning your road trips, make sure to check the weather, because summer comes with summer storms, thunderstorms, flash floods. There's a lot. And depending on where your road trip is taking place, there are things that you need to watch out for. Like when I was out west in Utah, we were there during flash flood season. So I constantly was checking to make sure if there was a rainstorm or where we were going to be heading if it was prone to floods. And 2 more things before you go. You're going to want to check if there are any vehicle safety recalls, and you can use NHTSA's online tool to check that with your VIN number for your vehicle, which is definitely helpful. And they'll let you know if there is anything you need to watch out for on your vehicle. We talked about what to do before the road trip to make sure that you have a safe adventure for your summer road trip, but let's talk about what to do during your road trip to stay safe. I like to be able to make sure that I stay alert, especially when I'm traveling solo. So listening to the music, having an awesome playlist or podcasts lined up for my road trip is definitely something that makes those long road trips a little bit more manageable. Another great road trip tip, doing your research, and be sure, to break up a long road trip, especially if you're driving by yourself. You want to stay alert and awake. And what better way than stopping for a cold drink to stay cool on a hot summer day? It definitely allows you to break it up so you don't get fatigued and get that tunnel vision. You're able to stay alert at all times. So a lot of the times I'm traveling solo. So when I'm taking a solo road trip, I like to share my GPS location with my mom or a friend, just so they know where I'm located at all times. Also, especially if I'm parking somewhere to rest, I like to make sure that I always have my keys as well as safety equipment somewhere that I can easily reach in case there is an emergency. But of course, I also like to prepare by the way I park. I like to also have my car parked where I'm backed in so I can easily leave a situation. I just try to not make it look like I'm not traveling alone by having other things in the front seat. Also, when I'm traveling solo, I never really tell people on a road trip that I am on the road alone, because I rather them not know that maybe I'm meeting up with a family friend or somebody in the next town. I don't want them to know that I'm on just some long haul adventure by myself, especially if I just met them, just to be safe, of course. Before you hit the road this summer, please review NHTSA's summer driving tips and safety tips so that you can have the best adventure with no misadventures, if you know what I mean. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and if you have any suggestions on how you stay safe on the road. Please like and subscribe so you're made aware of future videos on my channel.